Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is July 21st. I'm really delighted that you are choosing to spend a few minutes of your time with me. It's very rewarding what I'm doing. I really enjoy it. And I'm glad that if in any small way I can bring some hope, some comfort, some clarity, then I'm doing my job. So that's awesome. Just a bit of a housekeeping note. Yesterday I did release two separate videos. One was on Barr and the Southern District of New York and Epstein, and one was on Trump and exactly how strong or not strong his base is. So if you're interested and you haven't seen both of them, feel free to go check them out. And today I decided that it is far past time that I answered some of your viewer requests. So today's little segment is going to be called You Have Questions, because you sure do. So the first one I'm going to tackle, and I'm sorry, I get amazing questions from everybody, but I don't tend to keep track of who actually made the request. So please don't feel slighted or insulted. It's just kind of the rhythm I've got going here. So the first question, it was actually two questions in one, but I'm going to separate it out. And it was, is the NRA going to pay a price for some of what they've done? And also, what is the sort of outcome for Fox News? So we're going to start first with Fox News and see how that goes. These are going to be smaller readings because I'd like to get several of them done today if possible. So, but you know, we're just going to get a quick overview. So let's start with Fox News. Keep my list, don't cover it up or I won't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. And down you come. So we'll do one more quick shuffle and then let's focus in on Fox News and what that looks like. So, Fox News, Fox News, Fox News. I don't know very much about the Murdochs, so if I get some details or names or things scrambled, I'll apologize in advance. But you guys are really clever, and generally speaking, you follow along brilliantly with what I say, whether I get it quite exactly correct or not, and for that I am grateful. Okay, so when Fox News started, when the Murdochs took over and they were establishing this company, he understood that people were endlessly fascinated by smut, you know, by scandals, by who's sleeping with who and shouldn't be. And he decided that was where he was going to make his fortune, simply in drawing attention to the kinds of stories that people wanted kept quiet and other people were endlessly entertained to hear about. And so he has done that. Often to some, rather tragic results. But, he set out what he wanted to do. And he had a vision of, really like expanding it across the world. I mean, he really wanted to go, sort of international, and he wanted to branch out into different countries because he understood the dynamic was global, right? There were always people who were going to have secrets, and there were always people who were interested in hearing their secrets. So that was sort of the basis and the foundation for how that organization was created. Then he decided to branch into more of a political arena, and he had opinions about that, and they were conservative opinions. But honestly, I can't actually tell you how many of those opinions were, sort of dyed in the wool opinions that he held, or whether it was more a financial consideration. There was a lot of liberal type commentators and newscasts out there because, of course, as the world shifted to a more inclusive model, and as people became enlightened and they realized that some of their old fears and prejudices were simply that, and that they didn't need to be carried forward into the future, the more conservative and sort of right-wing attitudes, grew smaller and smaller and smaller. And he decided, I actually think it was quite a conscious and business decision. It was not sort of an evolution. He decided that he was going to focus on that group of people and see if he could keep them energized and focused, and he wanted to keep a sort of a counterbalance, right? So that was sort of what happened. He now finds himself in a position where they've thrown a lot of their support behind Trump and the Republican Party. I'm talking now exclusively about Fox News here in the United States, as opposed to the Murdoch, conglomeration. And in some ways, this whole situation has really, really spun out of their control. Aside from the few programs that are actually newscasts on Fox, they really have gone to a place where truth is relative. Truth is based on what you think and what you believe, as opposed to this is a set of facts, because they have talking heads who are very, very interested in pushing a certain and specific narrative. Well, alrighty then. So, because the organization has a complete imbalance of what is going on, they have really lost their right to consider themselves a news organization. Now, I do understand that there are also other news organizations that really do lean left, and they kind of make no apologies for it. And no one's saying that there shouldn't be choices, and there shouldn't be opinions, and people shouldn't have a right to those opinions. Of course they do. But where Fox has sort of done damage to itself is that it has completely maligned the truth. It's one thing to say, these are the facts and this is how I interpret them versus how they interpret them. That's different things. But it's really damaging when you say, these are the facts as I see them, or as I want them to be, as opposed to this is something we all agree on. So it definitely appears that justice is going to be rolling around for Fox. Now, I can't say that I'm not seeing any real significant indication that there's going to be severe punishment to them. But what I can tell you is it looks as if, as things continue to roll on, especially those people who view Fox as their only news source, and they believe everything they hear, what's going to happen is when things don't turn out the way they are being told they're going to turn out, there is going to be disappointment. And people are going to get angry. And I think at that point, you are going to see a diminishing of Fox News's revenues and their hold on the market. And at that point, it's going to be interesting because I suspect they really have two choices. either they can walk away with their head in shame and try and sell the business and just, move on to some other area. I doubt that will happen, but they're definitely going to be embarrassed and a little bit disgraced. And ultimately, they're going to have to find a way to bring balance back to their news organization if they hope to maintain any sort of a reputation in that field, because it's not going to look good for them to be seen as a news organization that cannot be trusted to even get the facts straight. Again, it's a very different thing to have opinions, and that's very separate from these are the facts as I want you to see them or believe them, and I'm going to twist the information around to accommodate what I want you to think and believe. So, do I see anything dramatic and profound happening? Sorry, I don't actually. But what I do see is a reorganization coming down the line, because there is going to be disappointed and angry viewers, and there's definitely going to be an impact to their revenue. All right, the NRA. Let's focus in on the NRA. It seems they haven't been in the news a lot lately, but it does seem to me that they sure are in a bit of trouble. They've got the Putina situation that sort of left them exposed. They've got whoever he is, the president of the NRA, and his suits and all the stuff that the NRA paid for his personal life and being. And definitely their reputation has been harmed, because they went from being an organization that was really, I don't know, I think initially, we don't have an NRA in Canada, so I might be speaking out of turn, but it seems to me that kind of when they started, they were considered, a reputable organization for people who enjoyed guns. Hunting with them, target practice, whatever. And they've really turned into this very kind of militant organization that seems to have an agenda to do nothing other than to stoke fear. So the NRA. What are we looking at? What where are they going to find themselves in the next period of time? 6-12 months, like that. Well, they're definitely trying to rework things. They're definitely trying to communicate a message that is a little bit less divisive. However, they have made their bed with Trump and the White House and the Republicans. They have chosen their side, and they can soften their message a little bit, but mostly they are locked in to the strategy that they started and implemented. So it doesn't sound as if there's going to be a lot that anybody is going to be able to do to sort of mitigate some of the real extreme behaviors and attitudes and emotions that they seem to enjoy inspiring. Membership is down, which means their revenue is down, and that, of course, is causing them some distress and concern. And there are many, many responsible gun owners who have chosen to stop being members of the NRA simply because the NRA no longer is a reflection of those people's core beliefs. I mean, when you start promoting the idea that in order to fix school shootings, that you bring more guns in, and anybody, who actually buys that it isn't guns that kill, it's people, well, okay, yeah, except people aren't being responsible with the guns, and in that, guns become the tool. So they're kind of, honestly, they're just on the wrong end of history for this. They really are. Definitely having financial troubles. I wouldn't be surprised if some more secrets come out. If there's some more dirty dealings or underhanded dealings that come out going forward, pertaining to money, resources, assets. So that's going to be interesting. I also suspect that they are going to pull back to some degree on their donations to Trump and the Trump re-election campaign. I'm not saying it's going to stop. I'm just saying it might be less than it was previously. And frankly, in part, whether they believe or trust or want to continue to support Trump, it very much feels like they honestly don't really have the resources to get him in place, to continue kind of the role they fell into or started or instigated in 2016. Okay. These cards don't have anything to do with the NRA. What they have to do with is school shootings and the children that are terrorized. It was a scary thing when I was a little kid and there were, like tornado drills or that kind of thing. Or you were, there was some sort of a situation where, as a very young child, even fire drills, for goodness sake, where you were made to understand that there was a threat and there were certain behaviors that you had to conduct yourself with in order to be safe during the threat. Okay? It is beyond appalling that children in the United States, from literally the time they start kindergarten, are drilled in how to protect themselves from gunfire. And honestly, not like a shotgun shooting a bullet, but like sprays of gunfire. It is something that honestly the rest of the world cannot understand. We don't get how that became such an entrenched part of your culture that the safety of citizens stopped being a concern. We don't get that. But there is going to come a time, there's going to be some very, very powerful sort of lobbies and government officials moving into place, not existing ones, moving into place with the next election, who are going to be able to support the existing people who have been fighting that hard fight for a long time. And there's definitely going to be some change coming. And it's going to be a battle, don't kid yourself, because it just seems to be one of those topics that just fires up people's passions. But there is definitely a need and a desire to go to a place where it is safe. It is safe again for kids to go to school. It is safe for people to go to concerts. It is safe for people to go to the shopping mall. And so there's going to be a real push to educate and promote and put the ideas and the informations into a package that is fuller and is taking into consideration sort of all points of view as opposed to one versus the other. Again, you've got that division thing going on, and all that does is create more division. So it's going to be a fight. But I actually see success ultimately where there is going to be, there's your success card, where there is going to be a push towards a safer environment for just citizens of, people of America to go along with their day-to-day lives and function in a way that is not, quite so risky. Just quite so risky. I have a friend who owns guns, and she target shoots, and from what I understand, she's amazingly good at it. But that is a separate thing from Anybody, anywhere should be able to buy a gun that is capable and, in fact, you know, in some cases actually more powerful than what is used in combat situations, and everybody seems to think that is fine. So while there can be a respect for guns and a respect for the sports connected to guns, that does not mean that there needs to be sort of a blind acceptance of all things done. So that's sort of good news, because you've got some nice, hopefully, changes coming up there. And let's just fit in one more really quick. And this one I want to focus in on Hannity, and just kind of what he may be undergoing in the next few months. You know, I'm kind of concerned that he may be involved in more things than perhaps are apparent right now. And I'm not sure from what direction they may be coming. So I'm not going to, you know, start guessing. But I definitely get the sense that there's kind of a bit of a bit of trouble coming his way. So, whoops. Apparently my cards don't want to cooperate on this topic. So let's just take a quick look at Sean Hannity and see what we can see for him. And I'm really concentrating it. I want to kind of say, like, in the next, you know, 6 months, sort of, maybe let's do between now and December 31st of this year. Let's see sort of what Sean Hannity may be dealing with in the next handful of months. Sean Hannity, Sean Hannity, Sean Hannity. Okay. So his strength, the thing that he did best, the thing that sort of catapulted him into the position he is that he is just one judgmental bastard. Okay, I'm sorry. This guy has an opinion about everything, and if he's tearing somebody down, and he's happy with that. Okay, this is a man who just is judgmental. That's his thing. That's what he likes to be. He likes to be seen as that tough talking guy who calls it like it is and shoots from the hip. And what a fool. That is his strength. Literally, his ability to pass judgment is what has created the situation he is in, where he has been able to monetize that dubious talent. Okay, that's the base. Okay, well, going forward, it appears that there's going to be some information coming out. I'm not going to say about a woman as much as I'm going to say through a woman, because of a woman. It could be a lawyer, a prosecutor, a business associate that has something to do with money and is not going to cast him in very good light. There is definitely heartbreak coming for this guy. And there's definitely that sense that at some point he's going to kind of almost need to sneak away. His connection to Trump and his desire to just jump on that bandwagon and ride it for all it's worth is making him a big shot in a small town now, but it's not going to serve him going forward. He's going to be defending himself, and all the wishes in the world aren't going to make it right. There is loss, abandonment, and that need to move away, take what's left of his reputation, and kind of just disappear kind of into the night. I wouldn't be surprised if after the Trump election loss, if it ends up going, if Trump ends up in office all the way till the end of the next election cycle and is actually voted out of office. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't repercussions for Hannity just in terms of the longevity of his career, because there was, he was just too close and too connected to the Trump campaign. Do I ultimately see a massive downfall for him? Okay, well, no, but again, we're only looking at the cards for, from now until the end of the year, and as long as he is in Trump's camp, and Hannity is instrumental at riling up the basis and keeping viewers turned in, honestly, I'm sorry, his job is secure. Certainly, it looks like, until there's a significant change in the White House. All right. So hopefully that catches me up on a very few of my requests. Thank you very, very much for joining me today. I hope you have found what I have said insightful. If you don't agree with something I said, you'd think I have the wrong attitude about guns or anything else, please don't beat up on me. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm reading the cards, and that's the message that I have been given to pass along. So, and honestly, when you do cards, your own personal opinion, you try to keep it removed. Okay, I appreciate that's really hard to do with Trump, because he just gives you a whole fruit basket of stuff to complain about. But okay, so thank you very, very much for your likes and your subscribes and your comments, the views. It is wonderful. Again, I'm for the last time, probably for a little bit, there are available appointments if you're looking for a private reading into the first couple of weeks of August. So if that's something you're interested in, check that little box. And again, I just am thankful and very grateful for your ongoing continued support and the blessings and love that you send to me. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.